Thank you all for joining us today for the tips on making your Birdathon the best with Luke Safford. I'll just go through some real quick Zoom tips and tricks for anyone who maybe somehow still hasn't been on Zoom before. First, my name is Kirsten Howe. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator here at Tucson Audubon. I know many of you and hope to meet the rest of you that I haven't met yet soon. As you just saw, I'm going to be recording this. We'll send you the recording later for your ease. If you have questions at any point throughout, you can throw your questions in the chat and we'll get to them when there's a good break for that. Or if you have questions towards the end, we'll have time when you can unmute yourself. While Luke is speaking, I'll just ask you to keep yourselves muted just for quality of sound on the recording, and so everyone can hear the best quality. That's about it. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Luke Safford, our Director of Engagement and Education, and he'll talk about how to make your Birdathon the best.
Yeah, thanks, Kirsten. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you to all of you for being a part of this. The Birdathon is a pretty awesome opportunity for all of us to get involved in something that normally we wouldn't be doing, asking people for money or being involved in fundraising, being involved in development. But definitely as Tucson Audubon continues to grow and continues to be involved in all sorts of conservation work, the donations that we receive from events like Birdathon or other event donation development opportunities, like those are really necessary. And Birdathon gives us an opportunity to be a part of that in a really easy way, in a way that helps spread the message of what we're doing with a really unique set of folks that wouldn't normally be touched by Tucson Audubon programming. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and about the fundraising aspect, about the logistical developing your fundraising page, and also what are some of the fun ways to actually conduct your Birdathon. I don't know how many of you have ever been involved. It doesn't have to be Tucson Audubon's Birdathon, but how many of you have been involved in a Birdathon or a swimathon or a walkathon or anything like that? How many of you have been a part of that? Good. So all the people who have videos on, I think just about everyone raised their hand. I see a thumbs up there. So a lot of you kind of understand that and know what that is. Maybe some of you have given to one too. So the people who give to our Birdathons and our fundraising here are just as much part of what we're doing as us actually doing it. So that's part of making your Birdathon best, is making sure those people who are donating to what you're doing feel like they're a part of it as well, because they certainly are. This will be my, I started doing Birdathon with Tucson Audubon in 2016. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This will be my 7th one, I think, if that works out right, if I counted the right fingers. 7th time I've done it. Thanks, Lizzie. And my son has joined me on all of them except for 1 year. 1 year he did it for some reason. I can't remember what it was. But my son and I are going to be doing the Birdathon together later in April. So I'll show you a little bit about how we put together our team and kind of some of the different things that we've done. It's always fun to do the Birdathon with another person. The main thing to start off with, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to take us to the Tucson Audubon website here. The main thing to figure out is why are we doing this? So why are we doing the Birdathon? What's the whole point? Well, the whole point is to share Tucson Audubon's mission with people and to get more people involved with it. Our mission is, you can read it right here, our full one right there. Tucson Audubon inspires people to enjoy and protect birds through recreation, education, conservation, and restoration of the environment upon which we all depend. That's a mouthful. I like to just condense it condense it. So when you start talking with people about the Birdathon and Tucson Audubon, and people ask you like, Paula, why are you raising money for Tucson Audubon? Like, what's the big deal? And you say, well, we're inspiring people to protect and enjoy birds, and we'd love for you to be a part of that with us. So the why is the most important thing, and the why is to inspire people to enjoy and protect birds. It helps to be a little knowledgeable as well about all the different things that Tucson Audubon is doing, just so that when people ask you questions, you're able to share with them what are the things that we're doing to inspire people. So you can always just kind of look around our website and it gives you some ideas. So you can go to conservation and our advocacy. You can go to the different engagement things that we're doing through education. You can go to all of our community science, and I'll just click on this right here, but all of our community science things that we do, from the Tucson bird count, the bird surveys with our important bird areas program, and we'll go to the Habitat homepage. I mean, many of you know these different things that we're doing, or you're involved with them already. So creating urban habitat and restoring landscape all around Tucson and in other cities that have been degraded, removing invasive weeds and plants and replacing them with natives. So all these different things that we're doing, and that's just really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what Tucson Audubon is up to. But the why of why we're doing the Birdathon is always most important, and we need to be able to voice that. Let me go to, I have a little PowerPoint set up for this too. We might as well utilize that. So why the Birdathon? It involves a lot of different people. So I touched on this a little bit. Each one of us has a unique set of family, friends, maybe coworkers, maybe people that were involved in other activities with, whether it's church or whether it's a biking group or whatever it is. Like, we have these groups of people that normally may not know anything about birds or Tucson Audubon, or they might know you as the bird lady or the bird guy. And this really enables you to, one, make them aware of why you're interested in these things and why they could be, how they could be involved with you in that. It's a really easy, simple way to involve a group of people that normally wouldn't have any interaction with Tucson Audubon. So here's an example. Here's a real life example that I'm doing later this month in preparation for Birdathon. Is I'm involved with a CrossFit community. So work out with a group of people at a gym that I go to, and we always do like monthly outings and different fun things together. And so in the month of April, the first Sunday in April, that morning, I'm going to take a group of them over to Sweetwater Wetlands. And when we're there looking at birds, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're getting into going to Sweetwater with me. But I'm going to give them binoculars, and I'm going to walk around with them, and I'm going to talk to them about how they can be involved with Tucson Audubon through a simple way, through Birdathon. So I'm going to introduce them to birds. I'm going to talk about Birdathon a little bit with them. And, you know, it can be something really organic, or it can be something put together like that. But just thinking of how you can talk to people or help people experience birds in a way, and especially this month in April in preparation for your Birdathon, and how you can get them involved in that. So you can talk about the different conservation things that we're doing with Lucy Warbler nest boxes. That might be an easy way this time of year to talk with people about it. And then why Birdathon? Also just because it's fun. People go at their Birdathon in different ways, and some of you participated in the Birdathon last year and have you know, the way that you did it last year, whether it's like a big day or whether you took a month to count all the birds that you see. There's a lot of different ways to do it to make it fun and exciting, not just for yourself, but for the people who are joining you in the adventure of raising money for Tucson Audubon. And we'll look at some of those different ways here in a bit. Some of you, maybe one of you has something that, a way that, if you've been involved with the Tucson Audubon Birdathon before, what are some of the ways that you talked about the mission of Tucson Audubon when you started raising money for it? And someone came to you, and or you came to someone and said, hey, Sarah, I'd love for you to sponsor me as I do my Birdathon. And Sarah says, why should I do that? What is something that you've said that goes along with Tucson Audubon's mission, or some other reason that you gave for them to be involved? Any of you willing to share?
Okay, well, I post every day on Facebook a bird and then an interesting fact about the bird. And so many people have said they're learning so much and now they appreciate birds. And so I went to that community that I was, you know, going to ask them to help contribute. So then that's where I shared that I learned everything from Tucson Audubon. And so this is a great organization to help so that I can learn more. And then everybody who contributed last year, who now gets the newsletter and things. I mean, I have friends who like watched the Crested Cutie presentation and they never even knew what Tucson Audubon was. And then I have people who with Vermilion Flycatcher realized that they knew Kim's mom in a former life. And so all sorts of people have just connected to Tucson Audubon just because of my Facebook page and sharing the birds and then going out and saying, okay, just give a little money.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great examples, Peggy. And what I love is that people who wouldn't have normally heard about Tucson Audubon, it's not like they had to go to, you know, a different like festival or some other tabling event that we went to. They received that connection from a friend or from someone they trusted. And really, those are the best types of connections that Tucson Audubon can make, is through those personal connections. And so Birdathon can be very personal that way and enable a lot of growth in ways that we wouldn't expect. So I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Oh, here's some different pictures, just different Birdathons that I've experienced over the years. It kind of shows you the different types of Birdathons that you can do a little bit. So this is me with a group of folks at Sweetwater Wetlands. We did a Birdathon, just a half-day Birdathon. We picked a day, and a group of us took, I think it was like from 6 a.m. to noon to see how many birds that we could count just at Sweetwater Wetlands to raise money for Tucson Audubon for the Birdathon. That's this picture over here on the left. Probably recognize the Sweetwater bathrooms in the back there. Oh, there's my Jeep up there, the upper left. So over here on the top right, this is me and our former executive director, Jonathan Lutz, and birding guide Ken Blankenship. We took a full day, like midnight to midnight, or midnight to 11:59 p.m. to count all the birds that we could find in Cochise County. You can see by this time, this is in the evening at the Wilcox Burger King, we're looking pretty, it was a long day, let's just put it that way. And we were not even done birding yet. We ended up seeing, I think, 167 species in Cochise County. So we did it in Cochise County specifically to raise awareness for the different work that Tucson Audubon was doing over there. So that was pretty fun. Down here in the bottom right, this is a picture of my son from, I think, 2 Birdathons ago, when we were trying to see as many birds in one day, and we're driving to Madera Canyon, and he had fallen asleep. This is probably like at 11 o'clock in the morning or something, and we'd been up for quite some time. And so I really wore him out. You know, you can wear yourself out on a full day Birdathon, or you can just do like a half day Birdathon and not get all tuckered out like Brock was. And then here's a picture of us down here in the middle. This is former development director Keith Ashley and a couple of our friends here in Brock. And we took the day and birded around the Santa Cruz River, and just to kind of raise awareness for what was going on along the Santa Cruz. So that's another possibility too. So just a couple things there. So let's move from the why to the what. Sometimes the logistical stuff of getting set up with your Birdathon can be a little bit daunting. Actually, sometimes it is the most daunting. It's probably the least fun, but it's just something that we got to work through to get to the fun part. All right. So little white crowned sparrow here that we get to look at, but I'm going to take us to the Birdathon webpage and just do a little what you can expect when it comes to signing up for it. Okay, so let's go to new share. I don't know of very many people who like to go through the whole registration process. That's all right. We try to make it as easy as possible, but there are some steps, and so I just want to take us through that. And please, if you have any questions throughout this, either you can throw them in the chat and Kirsten will interrupt me and vocalize those for us, or feel free to unmute yourself and give any questions or clarification that might be necessary. All right, so here's the Birdathon webpage on our Tucson Audubon website. So it's from the TucsonAudubon.org, just under news and events. It's just on the little menu that comes up, so Birdathon 2022, and this will be what you get to. So it's for a month. Some people take a month to count all the birds. Some people just take a single day to count the birds that they see. Some people take a week. Some people kind of spread it out. There's no specific way of doing it. So just whatever fits into your schedule, whatever fits with what you like to do. Personally, I like to do to pick a day and just like figure out like a location or a route and just take that day to count the birds. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here soon. But to get started, you just scroll down and there's all these different colored buttons down here. So what you can do is start by clicking on create your own team, or you can go and look at the Birdathon Teams over here. Let's look at the Birdathon Teams, and then I'll show you what it looks like to create your own. So there's a few folks who have already created their Birdathon Teams. When you click on this, you'll see how much money has been raised so far. It just started, so but we have just over $376 that have come through already. We have our campaign goal here of $60,000. And then as you scroll down, you'll see the different team pages that come up. And so right now they're sorted by the teams that have raised the most money are up on top, and then it'll just kind of fluctuate. You can change that if you want here to sort by. But you can see some that are on here. Laura's got her Forts and Port. Linda and Kathy have their Dry Martini. I think Kirsten is part of the Dry Martini Club over here. And oh, look, hey, Nancy, who's on the call with us right now, she's got Birdies for Birds. And let's click on that one. Why not? So all the different, yours would be part of that whole rundown. And honestly, donors, actually some really big donors sometimes just go to that page and look at the different pictures and the different teams, and they'll click on it like we just clicked here on Nancy's, and they'll read it and they'll decide, hey, I want to give to that team. And so it's pretty surprising that some people just do that. So that's why it's important to have this set up for people who really want to give. They look at that. And so Nancy has her whole description of what she's going to be doing for Birdathon right here. you can see right here, this is one thing that for the entire Birdathon month, I will be spotting species on the golf courses of Southern Arizona and New Mexico. And it sounds like she's gonna see how many bird species she can see during that time. So, oh, look, she's got a pledge that she's doing for herself. And she's gonna be doing, reporting her species list on here. This is great. And so underneath this section that you're going to write, and I'll show you how to do that, then there will be a pledge button and a donate button. There's also a big green donate button right here too that people can use. And then down here, when people start giving, those donations will show up down here with the name. Some people leave comments, that sort of thing. I'll show you what that looks like. Here, let's go to one that has donations already. Let's go to the dried martini one. You can see their description here. And then down here, you can see that they already have 2 different supporters, Irene and Claire, and how much they gave. And so again, the pledge button and the donate button. Donate is just that flat donation, and pledge, let's click on this and I'll show this to you. This is our pledge form. This is actually the way that I really encourage people to give, is through a pledge form. And so they would click on that and write down the name of the team that they're donating to, how much per bird species that they'd like to give. And then if there's a special challenge pledge, so like some people, some of these can get so crazy. Like I had my son always does it with me, so take that into consideration why this person did this. But we have one supporter who always donates like 50 cents. Is it 50? No, I think it's $1 for every bird that we identify that we see pooping. So every bird that we see pooping, we get an extra $1 for. And Jenny loves giving us that little challenge pledge, and my son, of course, as a young 13-year-old, loves that. And so we're always keeping an eye out, and we have gotten a few birds on that list for Jenny. So they can put cool little things like that in there, and any comments. And then once they submit this, there's a submit button down here at the bottom. They submit it. It goes to our colleague Diana Rosenblum, who then updates everything in the on the team page. So she'll update it and put the pledge in here under the supporters, and she'll also send you an email saying, hey, Jenny donated a pledge this much money per bird to you. I just wanted to let you know, or something like that. And so once you get that pledge from Diana, then you really want to make sure to send Jenny an email saying, thank you, I got your pledge, and I'll keep you updated, something like that. Any questions for that part so far?
David asked the question we're all thinking, which is, how many pooping birds have you identified?
Okay, I had a Cass's vireo one year. We had a Hammond's flycatcher. Believe it or not, these small birds, you can see it just comes. So those are 2 that I definitely remember. I think there was a common raven one time. Luckily, nothing's ever gotten on us, so that's good. Oh, I see Ulysses' hand.
Yeah, I'm behind the times. I didn't realize that teams were already up. I got to get my act together.
Oh yeah, no, you're not behind. It's just you were still a month out. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
But I remember last year when I judged with Holly, I think it was Taylor at the time mentioned like, oh, when the Birdathon teams go live, that's when some people, like you said, some donors go in and look through the teams, and like, even if they don't know you, they might donate. But when is that? Like, is there some date I should be aiming to get this up by so that people will come and see them?
Great idea. Yeah, great question. So excuse all the different stuff on my calendar here, but just to bring up the calendar to just help me answer that. I would say, like, having it up by the week of the 28th. Like having it up sometime the week of the 28th would be fine. So it actually starts on the 8th. And so if you have it up about a week before the 8th, I think would be appropriate.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm a deadline oriented person, so that helps.
Yeah, no, I am too. And it's good to be really clear about that. Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Lizzie. Let's see, let's go to, let's see, oh, I know. So I was going to show us all what the next step is as far as actually starting your Birdathon page. So we saw all the different teams by clicking on this red button here. And over here on the left, create your own team. So you start by clicking on create your own team. And you probably won't have all the information already entered in for you like I do here. But you would enter in your information. And then, yeah, click yes to agree. We do have a video that Diana, Tom Brown, and myself put together that will help you remind yourself of how to do this if you get lost at all. But the first part is really easy. You just fill out that information, click yes, agree, and then you would hit continue. And actually, I'm just going to hit it right here. I'll just do it again. Okay, you hit continue. And then as you know, registration is all these different forms. We just have to do it. So then you put in your first and last name again. You put in your email. You put in which shirt size you would like. If you raise over $100, you get a free Birdathon t-shirt. And then you put your team name in here. On the previous one, if there's more than one of you, you can change the amount of people that are on your team and you can fill out this information for them, or we can enter it in later. Either way is appropriate. So you put in your team name. Let's just do, our team name is the King Birders. And then you hit, if I do this, it's going to create a whole nother thing and then I have to go in and delete everything. So you would hit next and then it will process. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to get an email response from this that shows you your next step. So if you hit that, then you go to your email and you'll get an email that says this right here, Birdathon registration confirmation email. Do you guys all see that? Okay. And this is what it's going to say. It's going to say, hi, Luke, or hi, Kirsten, or hi, Lissy. Then here's all the different things. So here's the link that you can use to set up your fundraising page, or you can click this little link here for video instructions, or you can click on Diana's email address to have her help you. The best thing to do is to just click on the link and start setting up your fundraising page. So I'm going to click on this, which I already did. Did I keep that up? Oh, I don't think I did. All right, I'm going to click on it. Let's see where it takes me because I already set this up. Let's see what happens. Okay, this looks good. Just says, please wait. All right, so I'll wait. While we're waiting, it's going to take you to this, and this is the whole fundraising page. This is kind of like the back end that you get to help put in your information, which will show, just like we looked at Nancy's, the description of your Birdathon, the goal that you're hoping to reach, your monetary goal, and the picture that you choose to show your Birdathon team. So this shows your campaign the whole campaign contributions, and this will show here on the left how much you've raised so far. I haven't raised any. You'll start by, it would say right here, this would be click right here where it would say Kirsten Howe's fundraising page or Peggy Steffen's fundraising page. What you want to do is click the little button below and put in your team name. That way you can put in whatever punny team name you want to use for that. This fundraising page URL, not as important. You can keep it with whatever they give you, or you can change this to show your team name. That's what I did here. I just put King Birders 2022. This is the URL, the link that you would give people like in an email to donate directly. So it's easy for them to find. I'm going to show you email that I sent out last year that has these links in there. I can even share the template with you if you guys would like that. You can let me know. I'll show it to you here in a bit. But change that, and then you get to put in your fundraising goal. My fundraising goal right now is $5,000. And then here you select which photo you want to use to show your Birdathon. And you go to select file. It'll bring up all the different photo files that you have in your computer, and you can choose one and then hit upload, and then that'll bring it up. So this is me and Brock on last year's thing where we did a little hike. And then you would just go to save. Oh wait, there should be page content. It's not showing the page content. I did get my page content in there. So here there should be like a little spot where you can write your blurb about what you're doing for your Birdathon. And then you hit save, and then it'll populate onto this page with all the different teams. So let's go to mine. Here's the King Birders right here. And here's the write-up. So actually, we're going to be doing our Birdathon on April 23rd, which is the day before Brock turns 14. So here's one thing that we're doing to try and get to our goal of 5,000. I put on here, to celebrate Brock's 14th birthday, we're looking for 50 people to donate 14 cents a bird species, and 25 people to donate $1.14 a bird species. And that would get us to just over $5,000. Or you come up with other fun things for like, or maybe someone would like to donate $14 for every owl species, or $14 for every duck species, or something similar. Who knows? Okay, so that's how that gets all set up. And then what's really helpful is just clicking on these video instructions right here. Video instructions can be found here. You click on that, and it'll take you to a little short YouTube presentation. I don't think I have my sound enabled, but Diana right here is going to lead you through the tutorial of how to do it. And it's from last year, but it's the same information, and they'll give you all the specifics. And Tom works it through so you can see it in real time. Real easy. I think any questions on how to get that set up?
Peggy had a question. She was wondering if there's a way to see your old page from last year or something, to get the content that you use there.
I knew someone was going to ask that, and I didn't realize Dana was going to be out today, so I thought about that, and I asked Diana, but haven't heard because she's out today. Because I was trying to find that. I thought I knew how to do it, and I don't. But if you click on Diana's email address right here and just say, hey, Diana, I would love to see what I had up there from last year. Could you help me out and find that for me? She'd be able to do that, no problem.
Yeah, I was also wondering, I don't know if this is the case, but if you still have your email like this from last year, if there's like a way that link still works to get back to your page. Oh no, might be worth a try though.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That might be possible. I'm not sure. So let me try something on that. So I was going to show this to y'all anyway. So, so this is my mom and dad's email address. And so they're always supporters. It's the only time they ever give to Tucson Audubon is for Birdathon, my mom and dad. So I'm gonna look at the email I sent. So here's the initial email I sent out to all. I just put together a whole list of different people I know and just BCC'd everyone and sent out this Birdathon email to people telling them what we're going to be doing. Thanking, look like these are all people who supported us in 2020. So I started off just thanking them for supporting Tucson Audubon through our Birdathon team last year, and all the different links and stuff I put in here. So I talked about what we're going to be doing. I said another way to give would be through our Birdathon fundraising page. So this would take me to my old fundraising page. Let's see if it does that. There it is. So Peggy, if you still have that link from last year to your Birdathon page, you could use that, and then you can go back and look to see, oh, here's the different, here's what I wrote last year, and you can copy that. So you can see all the different people who pledged last year. Those are just the pledges right there. And then these are all the people who gave. I always say, like, I would love to have $138 or $20 amounts rather than like a one really big one. Like, you want to get as many people involved as possible. Here's some of the different things that people did. Extra $2 for every species you see whose name contains a primary color. Yeah, so like these different fun things are awesome to kind of experience together. And the way that you get those is just by asking for them. So like in the initial email I sent out to people from last year, I said, would you like to support our Birdathon again this year? Favorite way for people to support us is through a per species pledge. Last year we had some amazing pledges. We already have one for $5 for every bird species that begins with the letter B. So who comes up with these ideas? So all these different things. And make sure to have a link to the pledge form. So if you click on that, it goes right to the pledge form. You can put that little link into your initial email. It makes it super easy for them. That's the thing, like whenever you're doing this, you just want to make it super easy and clear for people. The link to your Birdathon fundraising page is most necessary. And then make sure you respond back to people. So when people respond, you just get right back to them. Any other thoughts on that before I move on to the next thing?
Okay, we have a couple of questions. Bear with me while I find them in the chat. Okay, so Joan is asking if there's a way to add team members like in an official capacity to your page, or is it just like you write their names in the description?
Ashley, you cut out just a little bit on me at the beginning of that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should be able to hear you through the wall, but I couldn't.
I'll just shout through the wall. So Joan says, for team members, is there a way to add them other than just naming them in the description for your page?
Yes, there is. When you go to create your own team, you can add them just like you would. So like if you're signing up for a field trip, and if you sign up for multiple people in that field trip, you just add them and their email address into that. And I think that will enable that to happen. If you have multiple people on your team, you can use the same page to raise funds, or you can create separate pages. So like, for instance, if we go back to the different teams here, Matt Griffiths right here, he's our communications coordinator. He's on the team called the Renegades. There's about 6 or 7 people on this team, the Renegades. They each create their own fundraising page. Other groups like Dry dry martini. There's multiple people in that group as well, but they all use the same fundraising page. So it's whatever works best for your team.
That's great to know.
Did I answer the question? I hope it does. Not sure.
I think so. Joan, was that satisfactory answer for you?
I'll just have to take a look as I'm signing up to look for where to click to add people.
Yeah, and Joan, if you have any questions throughout that process, just let me or Diana know. Diana's kind of like the Birdathon guru when it comes to the neon registration part of it, but I should be able to help you out a bit too there.
Sure.
Okay, so then
Thanks.
Peggy is also wondering if people who donated in previous years usually donate again.
Yeah, they certainly do. I see a lot of repeat business, I guess you would say, especially if you have good communication with them in prior years, giving them updates and you giving them reports afterwards, keeping them engaged. There's a lot of that repeat business for sure.
Awesome, good to know. Yeah, all about relationship building, right?
It really is. It really is. It is all relationship stuff.
Holly's asking if there's a hashtag we should use on social media.
I don't know, but it should be. That's on my list. I'm going to talk to our communications team about that because I could say something, but they probably have a specific format they would like to have it. So there would be. We'll get on that.
Peggy says there was a hashtag last year. So there's probably one this year. What was it last year? Birdathon 2021? Maybe it can just be Birdathon 2022. It's probably more specific than that, isn't it?
You know, the communications team, they like to have, it's gotta be the right format.
Yeah, well, it has to be the same for everyone, otherwise it doesn't work. So
exactly.
Okay, Nancy, you would like to add something? You can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Luke. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Nancy.
Okay, it's because I'm 6,000 miles away. One thing that I think is important is that people can continually edit their page throughout the Birdathon.
Yep.
So you can continually tell people how you're doing and how you're getting on and thanking sponsors and appreciating pledges. And that's very easy to do because if you click on your page, it just says edit. And you can go straight to it and continually update it. And everybody that sponsored me last year, they loved to see how I was getting on during the Birdathon. So I would really encourage people to do that.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. And that edit my page button is right down at the bottom. Little gray button down here. Yeah, and that's how you're able to like update your bird list that you see throughout the month too. Fantastic.
Okay, and Lissy is wondering if you can say more details on how you're encouraging your CrossFit friends to get involved. Did you say you're taking them out birding in advance to get them interested, or are they going birding with you as a reward for donating?
In advance. So it's like the first Sunday in April. They don't know they're going to get the Birdathon speech yet. They just know they're going out. But you know, the thing is, just take the opportunities that come your way with other affinity groups that you're a part of. Many of them are, whether you believe it or not, they really are interested in what you're interested in. You know, if you, just take those opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, however it works for you to incentivize people to get involved.
Yep.
Okay, and I think the final question was Nancy, who asked, how many species did you get last year?
It was 130.
Nice.
It was 130. And so that's a good kind of gateway to some of the, so one of the really main things is following up with donors. And Peggy asked the question, how many people, past supporters, or support again future Birdathons? Well, it really comes down to how you go about like bringing them into what you've done and making sure you have good communication with them. So here's an example. I'm just going to use my mom and dad as the example. So I showed you the initial email I sent them, and I don't think I think I probably talked around the phone about the pledge thing. But so here's an example of a follow-up after they pledged. Here's a follow-up. You can even see this is personal email, whatever, but hi, Mom and Dad. I just said, thanks so much for the pledge of 10 cents a species and extra $5 species that start with the letter B. Okay, so yeah, don't read all it. Then I shared with them what we were going to be doing. So this is before we went and did our actual account. I just said, thanks for the pledge. Here's what we're going to be doing. Here's our route. Just to kind of, so I did this for everyone, not just for my mom and dad. This part is all like kind of cut and paste type of thing. And I told them what our goal was going to be, especially for people who pledge. They want to know goals ahead of time because they don't know if they're pledging 10 cents a species and you're going to see 100, or 10 cents a species and you're going to see 10. So that kind of has a big effect. So putting that into your description at the beginning is really important. Okay, so then I just said, you know, that's what I did for everyone. Take care, and we appreciate you being part of our team. So I just always say, you're part of our team, part of our team. Okay, so that was before we went out. After we went out, I sent a pledge follow-up. It must have been right. It was on Mother's Day when I said it. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. This is kind of funny. I was looking at this earlier. I already talked to Mom about this, and there may be a check in the mail, but I wanted to follow up with you on your Birdathon pledge. So, you know, we need to follow up on it. People want reminders that, hey, you know, this is what you pledged. Here's how you give. I laid it out really easy. I added up how much all their pledges were. Is $88. I put down here what the bee named birds were that they did, and I'd already sent them a rundown of how many species we saw. And then I said you could either give online by clicking on the green donate button on this page, and you can see I linked to it, or you could give by check made out to Tucson Audubon with Birdathon Kingbirders in the memo. So just making it really easy for them to know how to give, where to give, those types of things. And then to have the list again so they can see which birds we saw. So along with that, actually, this email went out before that, just the rundown of what we did, what we saw. This is a whole lineup of what we did the whole day, and then all of our species that we saw and where we saw them. So this is what we sent out to all of our donors who were part of our team. And so they all received that. And I think that those types of communication before and after are like really necessary to create those repeat givers to your Birdathon.
Sorry, like, can you specify, does Tucson Audubon staff follow up with pledges if those aren't received, or that's on the team?
That's it's best for the person who's conducting the Birdathon to do that. It makes it is a little bit more involvement, but I think that's what creates the repeat stuff. So if it's Diana following up, it's just not as good. And so I always want to encourage people to do that pledge follow-up yourself. We're not going to do it unless you specifically ask us to. What we would do, what Diana would do, or I would, is say, hey, Kirsten, we've noticed that these people haven't donated their pledge yet. Could you follow up with them? That's what we would say to you.
Okay, that's good to know. I also want to call out Peggy in the chat here, put a link to a video that she made for all of her donors. that shows photos of every bird she saw. She made it into a video and sent it to people who donated and they felt like they contributed. I love that so much. What a fantastic idea, Peggy. So I'm going to definitely watch that as soon as this is over. I'm excited to see it.
It's awesome. Yeah, those are super important. Like all those really personal touches are what donors want to see. And so just realize too that there's so many different ways that you can do the Birdathon. The main important things are how to create more donors, how to talk with people, to find supporters, and then to communicate really well with them. Those are, everything else is just going out and finding birds. And oh, also I should share one last thing I should share. Let me get back to this and let's go to Birdathon. Oh, there we go. So if we go to the Birdathon page and go to Birdathon details, you'll also see the different competition categories. So we do have quite a few different prizes this year for teams who are judged and come out on top for these Birdathon categories. And I know that our development directors been getting a lot of great response from folks in the community about cool prizes that we're going to be giving out. But you can see there's, you know, the most bird species seen in a day to prize for the person who's brand new to Birdathon. I think Peggy won that one. Peggy, you won that one last year, right? I think you did. If you do a creative home patch, so that means like, so if you're, you know, I know like some people just count the birds in their backyard and do it in a really creative way. One person 2 years ago just counted all the birds they saw that would land on a pole on that in their backyard. And so they kept a list for a month of all the different birds that would land on that pole. And I'm pretty sure that Tina won this creative home patch that year. But you can see all the different other ones, people who use social media really well, or people who do their Birdathon outside of Arizona. So if you're doing it from Homer, Alaska, this would be a great one that you probably would have a kind of a leg up on if you're doing it from out of Arizona. And also some other extra prizes. So if you raise over $1,000, we'll get an invitation to go on a bird outing with me. If people raise over $100, they get the Birdathon t-shirt. Kids under 18 who raise $200 or more, they get some special swag from the Tucson Audubon Nature Shop. And this will give you some other interesting things to think about when you're deciding what type of day or outing that you want to do for your Birdathon. I think that's
I have
about
another
it.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious, like as far as, so I'm on a team, but I also want to donate money. So what do I do? Do I donate to my own team? Do I donate to someone else's team? Is it up to me?
Yeah, it's totally up to you. You can do either or both. So let's look at some examples. I always like examples. So I know Laura Davis, she does Fort Support, and last year she did Fort Huachuca and Puerto Penasco, and the birds that she saw in both of those spots. She's adding Fort Bowie National Historic Site this year. And Laura was the first donor to her Birdathon. She donated $100. So it's awesome. It kind of shows people that you have skin in the game. So that's a great way to just, you know, give people that added incentive of, hey, Luke really does care about this. Look, he donated too. Or also peruse the other different teams and see if there's someone that you want to support, or multiple teams that you want to support. I always like to do a few different pledges for folks. And there's some different teams who like give you added incentive to donate to them. So like the dry martini to olive warblers, If you donate at least $25, you receive your choice of a pocket-sized field journal or a set of 2 drink coasters. So I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but here is one of their coasters from last year, Dry Martini 2 Olive Warblers. So I use this all the time. Thanks to Linda and her team for putting that together. So I would say just look at the different teams and see what you'd like to do.
Kirsten, I donated to a couple of teams last year. One of my friends, Clegg, he did one with his grandson, which was the coolest thing. So I like it when people get other entities involved in, and he's so excited to get his grandson into birding. So it was like, oh, when you see other people, especially with their descriptions, you get so excited about what other people are doing. So donating to more, I think, is a great way to do it.
Yeah. His son saw 3 scissor-tailed flycatchers that day.
What? That's so cool.
They live in Texas.
Yeah, they were in Texas, so they had a bit of an advantage.
I was like, oh my gosh, where are they
It's
birding?
still so cool.
But he chased them all around the park. Once he saw them, you see this picture of him running around the park with his binoculars. It's very cute.
That's
I actually
adorable.
think I have a picture of it here real quick. Let's see. So here, this is some Birdathon pictures from last year. Dave Eschbaugh. Here's the Renegades. I know I have a picture of him in here somewhere. Madeira Reservists, Migrant Trappers. Hey, there's Peggy. Yay! There's some of the birds that she saw, some of the red birds. Home Patch Winner, Nerdy for Birdies, and a grand champion, the Saddlebrook Ranch Cuckoos. They did amazing. They even got on the front page of the Saddlebrook Ranch Roundup.
Wow.
And I think there he is.
There he is.
I knew Henry was in here somewhere.
Oh,
That's
I
little
love
Henry looking for
that.
scissor-tailed flycatchers there. So, yeah,
That's
thanks
awesome.
for bringing that up, Peggy.
And Holly just found the hashtags. Thank you very much, Holly. They're TAS Birdathon 2022 and hashtag Birdathon 2022. So easy to remember. Make sure to use both of them, as that's how all our judges and staff will find them. So
Awesome. Thanks, Holly. Well, I just want you all to know that throughout the whole process, if you have any questions, let me know. I know there's a lot of other people who are going to be doing Birdathon too. So know that there's a big crew of people who will be just right alongside all of us in raising money for Tucson Audubon. It's a huge deal, and one of my favorite times of the year. So
before we go, Paula has one more question.
Okay, Paula.
She put in the chat. She said, do you use the donate button on your team section to donate? I want to put up a donation and find donors to match my donation.
Let me read that. Do you use it?
I mean, someone was asking how to donate, and that's what I did last year because I didn't understand what the Birdathon was all about. And now I've got a little project that's almost finished, but I want to put a donation amount in there and then try to find people, even if it's $5, 10 people to match the little one I'm doing, so that I doubled my donation from last year. That's how I want to do it.
Yeah, that's great, Paula. So you just click on the donate button.
Okay.
On your
page.
On your page, you hit the donate button. This comes up, and then you put in all your information.
Okay.
Donate, and then that'll show up, and people can see that, and you can ask people to match it that way.
Okay. Okay. I just, like I said, I don't know. I've had problems with my internet. I've been hacked. My Wi-Fi's been
Oh no.
My email was hacked last year, so that's why email's out, and I've got to do it by word of mouth, and being new here, it's going to be a challenge, but I've got a challenge that I think you'll like. So when I'm done with it.
Awesome. Thanks, Paula.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions before we sign off? I don't think so. I think we got to everyone's
enough.
questions in the chat.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you're all motivated and excited for Birdathon. Please let us know if you have any questions in the interim. Otherwise, we'll hopefully see more of you in April.
Thank you.
Thank
See you guys later.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good rest of your day.